Hi, this is the Ball Control Podcast, weekly JBA review with Bryan and Shawn. What's good, Shawn?
What's up?
All right, so what was the game that stood out to you this week in the JBA?
I think it was between Atlanta and Philly because that was the secondary games, and it was way more organized.
What made it more organized to you?
I feel like the players got to know each other, really, with Chauncey from Atlanta and I think number 10, they call him the glove. They really were working together on chemistry, and it was good. They came back later in the game, though. I think they were messing up at the beginning, but they showed professionalism.
Okay, and what is it about this Atlanta team? Because the way they play defense, and really, to be honest with you, watching on Facebook, it doesn't do them justice. I watched both of their games on Facebook, and when you watch them in person, they're like sharks. They're seeing things from, they're on one side of the court, and they're just zooming over like a swarm of sharks to the other side of the court. You know what I mean?
Well, I think it's because they have that dog in them that the other teams really don't. And even when they're down by 20, because you saw that during the game, Philly was giving them the business, led by Heel.
Right.
I forgot his first name, but it was just giving them the business. And they could have easily given up, but they fought, and they kept on defending, and they passed the ball. They were making 3 passes, making moves, going down the court.
They're going to be the toughest team, I think. I think they're going to be the toughest team.
But here's the thing. If they keep that same defense going on and choke up and show – not a lot of these teams are really that great from the three-point, except for them and maybe – I don't think Chicago. But them and Philadelphia are the best teams that can shoot the three.
Right.
The third team is L.A., but as soon as they choke – see, most of these teams are not really that great with layups, which they need to work on. But when Atlanta plays, a lot of teams can't attack that good. They can't get past them because they're longer players. So I really just believe that's the team that plays like an organized team.
I feel it.
So what do you think?
I mean, there's a couple of different things. With the Atlanta team, like I said, the defense is on par. They're really long, they're lengthy, they're athletic, and I would say they're probably the deepest. I still think they're the deepest team in the league so far, to me, from everything I've seen. They go 1 through 8. I would say they're like the closest thing to a 1 through 8 type situation, where even like their 8th guy that they're bringing off the bench can contribute defensively and make some offensive contributions, right? But it's like, I got to see them go up against Houston, and I got to see them go up against Seattle, and I got to see them go up against L.A. You know what I mean? I still got to see them go up against those 3 teams.
Yeah?
Wait, I said I just still got to see them go up against those 3 teams. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, well, L.A., and this is an update. We're talking about the whole JBA, just so everyone understands. I think L.A. forces teams to play sloppy. It really does. And I've noticed this. I mean, the game does not look good sometimes. It looks, play-by-play, highlights are great and all that. But when you watch the whole game, it doesn't look good. But I'm going to give you the best player in the LA team. It's Nigel Nolan, the short guy, the 5'9" guy.
Niles Malone?
3.
Yeah, Niles Malone.
Niles, yes. That man he attacks. He's if IT didn't mess up his whatever injury he had, but he attacks, man. The guy
attacks.
Does not.
The thing that I like about him is he seems to wear down the opposition over the course of the game.
That is true.
Everything he does defensively and offensively, all the different ways, like he picks up full court and he kind of rides guys. Then he's constantly pushing that ball and looking to attack. Like he has no fear of taking the ball inside and throwing his body into the defender and finishing. He has no problem taking threes when necessary or when he feels like he's open. And he has no problem pushing the ball. And then as soon as the other team is taking that ball out of the hoop, he's right up on their point guard, whoever that person is, and he's riding them the whole 90 feet up the court. And I'm like,
and he makes the best passes when it comes to transition. the transition.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's the thing about LA too. Is I feel like they should start the Taylor kid, the lefty with the 3, because when he's in the game, like I looked at the stats for the last game they played, and when he was on the court, he had the best plus minus of everybody on the team. I think Taylor had a plus 13, and I think Melo was like a plus 11, and they had some other guys. I think they even had some starters that were like negative. You know what I mean? And I noticed when Taylor's on the court, it's like because Melo, Niles, and Floyd are so good at ball handling, getting into the paint, shooting the basketball, when you add like a 4th guy that can do some of those things, it just makes them that much harder to deal with. Like, it kind of makes it almost impossible to guard them. But the coach won't start them. I think the game would have looked different if Taylor started.
I'm telling you, it's the coach. The coaches, I believe they have the worst coach in the whole league. But the coach is lucky he has talent.
You think he's worse than the New York coach?
Well, the New York coach doesn't
You think he's worse than the New York coach? Yes.
The New York coach doesn't have much to work with. You have to think. The tallest guy in there is what, like 6'5", maybe 6'4"? They don't have a center. So, I mean, it really hurts because you have LaMelo, who's 6'6", basically the tallest guy, who would be the tallest guy in New York. And the New York guys, they suck because the way to win games is by rebounds. So they're not going to win any game if they can't get these rebounds.
That's another thing I liked about Floyd, man. That dude had 30 rebounds.
Yeah. Which point, I guess that didn't really point out a positive for me. That's another thing.
Say it again?
That's one thing. I think that pointed out more of a negative for me. Yes, he's a guy who will attack and get the rebounds, but it pointed out a negative about the JBA players and the coaching or the training, which bothers me the most. What do they promote the most in the JBA?
As far as style of play or what?
Style of play. Because when the other team is going in to attack, usually if they don't make it, they give up. They go right back. They let the other team get the rebound, which I've noticed. They're not fully trying to get it. They let the center try to get the rebound. And some of the centers in the JBA are out of shape. So Floyd has an advantage over these centers. Atlanta has an out of shape center.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. His versatility, though, is like this is a guy that can get you 30 rebounds, but he also can bring the ball up the court on a fast break.
That is true. That is really true. Remember when Niall and Kirk and LaMelo went down the court? LaMelo passes it to Kirk. No, I think he passes it. Yeah, passes it down to Kirk. Kirk passes it to Niall to get the. I forgot how it went, but they were just the way they worked the ball was beautiful for transition plays. But I truly believe, and this is the fact, Atlanta is the most dominant team when it comes to playing organized basketball.
They should be. Like, it seems like they. I gotta see them play against these other teams that I think are really good too, before I can say that. But so far from what I've seen, they do seem like the top team to me, just because they just got like so many dudes. They can come at you in waves.
Yeah, like them and Philly feel like the team that I would send to play foreign teams right now.
I feel
like
that
right now.
Yeah,
that's how I.
But could you imagine, like, okay, take Atlanta's wing players and their guards, and then add Floyd and Melo to that team.
An unstoppable team. But the thing is, I think LaMelo would make the defense bad.
I don't know, because you can just put him on the backside like they do on the team he's on now. You can just put him on that back wing, and now he's just going to play free safety. And you got guys that can pressure the ball anyway.
That is true. That is true. But, like, you notice when I watch Atlanta games, you notice the point differential and how much they allow their opponents to score to the exact how LA team allows their opponents to score. The first game, I thought they only allowed They let the other team 100 points, let them have only 100 points. And let's tell our listeners why it's so high of points. Because I think people would just say there's bad defense, but they don't realize it's only 8 guys in the rotation. And they only play 4 guys the most.
Yeah, exactly. Like every team has 8 guys, but I wouldn't say all 8 guys play the same amount of minutes. So really, you're talking about 5 to 6 guys that are basically playing like NBA level minutes, basically every other day.
Playing LeBron minutes.
They're playing like every other day. You know what I mean? So yeah, they're getting tired at the end of games. That's why the scores are crazy. Yeah, you could definitely see it. I saw it like when Atlanta played Chicago in that first game, in the third quarter they completely dominated Chicago in that third quarter. And then towards the end of the third quarter and then the beginning of the fourth quarter, you could kind of see both teams were starting to get fatigued. I think a couple of players went out with like Hollywood J, I think he went out with like a calf situation at one point. And
wow, this is not good.
Big Jelly, he went out of the game a couple of different times for different things. I think one time his shorts, something was wrong with his shorts, but a couple of other times I think like he might have rolled an ankle or, you know what I mean, just different things you could just tell is like more like fatigue based. I want to say.
See, now that one stop that needs to bring that this brings me to the section what is wrong with the JBA right as of now, and is exactly that, and that's my problem. Is if you have an 8-man rotation, you're probably not going to play 2 or 3 players because your top 4 players are the ones who's giving you the points and can make the plays.
Right.
It's a shorter rotation, so you have to play them like 40-something minutes or the whole clock,
right,
which allows for more injuries to happen because you wear them down faster. I mean, look,
it's going to be interesting to see how the injuries play out. I wonder how often do they practice playing those kind of minutes every other day, especially because these guys. I'm sure I know they had training camp, and I'm sure a lot of these guys have been training, but they've basically gone from like not playing competitive basketball in a lot of cases for several months or maybe even a year to like this high-paced, high-volume type basketball every other day. It's going to be really
Atlanta,
interesting
I'm
to see.
more worried about.
Say it again?
Atlanta, I'm way more worried about than any other team because they play real tough defense. Like LA, I think is going to be the least injured team because they play pretty basketball, and I'll say pretty because their defense is very lackadaisical until they do double-doubles.
You mean double team?
Yeah, when they do double team, sorry. Double team.
Yeah. When they do those traps, they're pretty aggressive. But I will say this, Niles, he rides guys up the court. Watch him.
Yeah,
he rides guys up. That dude plays really hard. I think he's built for it. Say it again?
I feel like his offense is his defense. Like, when he runs at guys, he's going full-fledged trying to make sure to get them tired. And he's going to get that layup. He goes 100%.
Yeah, but I mean, he's picking up when he's picking up full court. Like, it's not. I mean, I don't know. Seattle handled it fine though. I will say that. Like the New York guys by the third quarter, they could not handle his full court pressure. Just him alone, he was like a press by himself.
By the third quarter, that New York team. I am not impressed. I feel like when they went to New York, they really didn't get the best players they could.
I mean, they take who tries out, you know?
Well, whoever. I'm not impressed with what we brought to the table because New York, we brought nothing but short men who could barely finish the layups.
I don't understand. What I saw, because I was really excited to see that hoodie, that kid with the hoodie, Moises Burgos.
He's playing exactly like.
And then I saw him come on the court, and I was like, he's really small. Like, I was like, wait a minute. Like, as soon as he walked on the court, I was like, well, he ain't going to be able to get into the lane, really. Like, I knew it. I was like, man, I don't know how this is about to work. Because this LA team, LA comes out, they got, a 7-footer at center. They got Floyd, he's like 6'9". They got another guy, I don't even know his name, but I think he wears number 3. He's like 6'7".
Yeah,
and then they had Melo.
Looks
like he almost 6'7", 6'6", 6'7". And then they had Malone. Malone is shorter, like he's a short dude, but he's built. You know what I mean? Like he's not a slight frame right there. So it's like
Malone.
I was like, this look like the monsters versus the alien. You know what I mean? Like I was like, wait a minute.
I didn't want to watch that game.
Work?
I turned that game off. I think at half of the second quarter. I was just like, why am I watching? I already knew what team was going to win. That's how unimpressed I was about this team. Any team that plays New York, I'm just not watching it. I feel like they left New York. Like I feel whatever they did was just wrong. What they did to New York because they did not. I feel like. This is the thing I have a problem, and I'm parting away from the teams. I feel like they took a very short amount of time to recruit people on the road. I'm honestly going to say if they did
honestly,
three trips.
I don't know if they could have done a much better job. I mean, because thing is, you got to get 20 guys. Like for me, they got 64 players, right? Out of that 64, they got about 20 to maybe 25 guys that look like, okay, he looks like he could be, have an extended career basketball-wise, whether it's the NBA or overseas. They have they have about 25 guys where you're like, okay, yeah, I can see it. Like the handle, the athleticism, the skill, like he has something there, and if he continues to develop, he can make it to, a secondary career in pro basketball.
Now, Brian, look, I'll ask you this question. If you weren't a big baller brand stan, you wouldn't even know JBA was having tryouts. That's how it was not promoted that heavy. So because there's people who were like, oh, I didn't even know they were doing this. So
yeah,
what I'm saying is
but they still had like 300 people show up to Dallas.
Oh, no. Of course, because their name alone could do that. But they were not, what I mean by not promoting it hard enough is not a lot of basketball heads who are really serious about basketball are all up on the news all the time. Like you have.
The other thing too, though, you got to consider is the age limits. That's going. It's not like they were looking for a very specific, acute age range.
With you, I'm gonna tell you, just like the promotion of the Big Baller brand JBA right now is how much I feel like the JBA was promoting now. It's the past. They went off what they had as a name, and they thought that was enough. But when I'm seeing the New York team, I know there's a lot of better players than this players that they're showing on the court. I'm being real with you.
I'm being real with you. You got to have your New York team got to be ballers. They can't be coming out looking like that. Like some of those dudes can play. I'm like let me. I can't pronounce his name. It's a cat on the team. He got I think he's I want to say he's Muslim. He got a long name. I can't pronounce that. He's dope. He's a good defender. He guarded Melo tough the whole game when they played in LA. Then there's a kid Kamara. He looks like he's gonna be probably their best scorer, and he could shoot and get to the hoop. And then like I said, Burgos. I feel like the Burgos kid. He just needs to put on some weight and get stronger. Like he has the skills. It's just he's just so undersized right now.
That is true, but I'm going to keep it real with you. They should have went to every damn state for tryouts. Now you can afford to go to train. I'll tell you why. Because you're not going to get top talent.
I'll tell you what state they should have went to.
5, 6 places?
This is the one state that they skipped that I think next year they definitely have to go to because there's so much talent there, football and basketball. Florida. You got to hit Florida. You cannot just
go to Florida. Should have went to New
Florida
Jersey.
Got ballers.
Should have went to Boston. There's a lot of places.
Yeah, but you have. If you're running any type of sports organization that's going to have open tryouts, you have to hit Florida, in my opinion.
Florida
should have a team, and they should hit Florida. Period.
I'm going to be real. It felt like they rushed the shit out of this. They could have went to Michigan.
Yeah, they rushed it. This is what? The idea came out less than a year ago.
I know.
This is a fleeting idea less than a year ago. Now it's here. That's kind of what's amazing about it. You know what I mean? Is that
I'm gonna tell you, Brian.
Wait a minute. We was just talking like this, hey, Lavar, hey, you should run your own league. Lavar said what? Oh, I can see that happening in a couple of years. Blah blah blah. No, it's here right now.
No, the whole. It's gonna take years. Obviously, I understand that talent just doesn't come on your league just seconds in. But what I'm saying is I'm already a New York fan. You can't do this to me. I was dead about to come to the New York game, but then when I saw my team, I'm like, we already have the New York Knicks. I can't be watching this shit.
Hey, I kid you not. When we was watching the L.A. New York game at the game or whatever, when I was at the game, there was a guy 2 seats over from me. He was all like, he was looking at that New York team. He was like, "Hey man, so are there gonna be some mid-season trades? Because this need to be competitive." And I kid you not, everybody around me started rolling, man. Because I was in the section where every seat was filled. Because I was right behind Lavar, so I think even people that was like sitting in other parts of the stadium was like sneaking in and getting seats and stuff like that.
I'm gonna be honest. I think did the people in the audience like the LA talent though?
Yeah, because you gotta understand, like Melo with the passes and the way they was getting up and down the court was really exciting. But like Melo just has a ton of fans, man. So everyone around me, like, there was a lot of people there that were like friends and family of other players on the team, but everyone was hyped to see Melo Ball play. Everybody.
Yeah, I see.
Everybody in that gym wanted to see what Melo was going to do. Even during the warm-ups, it was a different energy. Like when he did that East Bay in the warm-up, when he did the East Bay through the legs through the warm-up, in the warm-up, the crowd was hyped. That was the hypest I heard the crowd the whole time I was there. When he did the East Bay, people lost their mind when he did that.
I think people would have wanted to see the second game more than would have wanted to see that first game. That first game didn't prove a point to me at all. That second game made me go, that's the LaMelo I want. Even though he missed all his threes, I didn't give a shit. The passing was beautiful. Him making them layups was nice. It wasn't messy. It was just the way he played was well off. The defense still is shit.
I like how much he's incorporating. I've seen him do stuff with his left hand before, but if you, like, he basically, when he goes to the basket, you got to account for both of his hands. He can finish with the left or the right. Either one. Completely comfortable. I'm like...
It's just not fair.
A lot of players claim they're ambidextrous. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, I'm looking at Melo, I'm like, wait, he just shot that floater with his left hand. Oh, wow, he just did a finger roll with his left hand. Now, back to the right hand. Like, he can switch to either one. And at that length, to be able to do that is, like, that's going to be really hard to stop.
Who's the next worst team for you, like, that you watched? Like, did you feel out this first and second round of games?
I can't really. I mean, New York would definitely be up there.
That's no.
I don't know. I gotta see. Okay, here's the thing with like Chicago, right? I would guess.
I can't tell.
People would probably say Chicago's number 2, but I'm like, I just feel like Chicago just has one flaw, and if they solved it or figured out a way to solve it, they'd be a much better team. Right now, they don't have...
Everyone wants to play star ball.
Yeah, I mean, there's some of that going on. They don't, like, basically, Kizo's the playmaker, but it's like, who is the secondary... Who's going to be able to step up and be the secondary playmaker on that team?
Yeah, and I realized, because they didn't have a good rotation set up for that. They didn't know who was going to be the second guy.
Yeah, and that's, if the coach can figure that out... You know what I mean? They're 2 games in it. So I'm like, that Chicago kind of just seems like a team to me where they have enough parts and the coach is putting enough energy into it where I can see the second half of the season, they might win like 5 in a row. Everybody will be like, whoa, Chicago is balling. You know what I mean?
Who
they might be one of those type of teams. So that's why it's hard for me to say, okay, well, like New York is easier to see with them that they're going to struggle just because, like I said, they have a height problem, and it's like they can't solve that.
Not only
all these other teams, they have flaws that they might be able to solve. Right. You know what I mean? So it's like, man, I think the key for New York, and I said it during the game, the first game I was watching, I was like, the key for them is going to be the 3. They need to hit a lot, take a lot,
or they're going to get this shit blocked
a
lot. Yeah, man. They're going to get this shit blocked a lot if they think they're going to be taking that shit up the layup.
They got to take a lot of threes, and they got to learn. They got to get to the foul line, and they got to make their free throws. Because what really hurt them against L.A. was not just the size differential, is that when they would get to the foul line, they were missing a lot of free throws. Yeah. And I'm like, this team cannot afford to miss free throws. They need to hit
there's like
threes.
3 good coaches in that whole league.
How can you say that for 2 games? It's only been 2 games, bro.
But they've been 2 rounds. But I'm gonna tell you why. Because Atlanta's coach, he looks like he knows what the fuck he's doing. He sits when they were getting messy in that second game, he sat those motherfuckers down and he made sure to tell them to get back on defense. The whole thing, because Brandon was talking about it. He was like to make sure to get them back in the game. He's a coach that knows when they're doing dumb shit to pull them back, to make them realize they need to get back to earth. Then you got O'Brien.
That's true and all, but,
team.
I'm going to give the Phil Jackson argument. This is the argument against Phil, right? He's got the most talented team.
I mean, that's true, but we got to realize they could have been they could have been a Chicago. Because Chicago, I believe, has a talented team. I just don't believe they're
not enough. Nah, bro. Nah, bro. Nah.
Nah.
Nope.
Damn.
We're not doing
How
that.
Did Atlanta get that?
I've seen them 2 teams in person. I'm telling you, Atlanta has the more talent. It's not even close. It's not even close. We're talking about, because you got to think about ball handlers, okay? Atlanta has multiple guys that can handle the ball and lock in at different positions on defense. Chicago does not have that type. They have some athletic guys. They got Kizo. Kizo's a stud. But they don't have multiple, 6, 7 guys that can bring the rock up the court and set up. Yeah. They don't have that. And they don't have 6, 7 dudes that can just guard any position on the court like that. Like Atlanta is really, it's not even, man. Atlanta is way more athletic, got way more scorers, guys that are, like Hollywood J by himself, man. Come on, man. This dude was hitting step backs. I mean, nah, man. We can't do that. We just cannot put Chicago.
Yeah, who do you think is in your ranking? Who do you think is going to get in the All-Star games? We'll be real. Who do you think?
I mean, I guess you would have to say, okay, we got to talk about the Seattle thing now that we bring that up, because this Jarrell Springer, I don't know what to do with him. I don't know where, I feel like Jarrell Springer, I guess they call him ISO Rail. He just came in and just said, all right, y'all was talking about all these other cats, now talk about me too.
He's mad. You saw that? Man, this man is mad.
So fast.
Dude, you saw him cross the shit out of Melo. I think did he cross Melo?
Yeah.
He crossed Melo, sped down the court, and did this beautiful pass.
Nobody could check him on LA's team. Nobody could really check him. He was ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's 6'6", legit 6'6".
Man, he looks like a NBA prospect. Get picked up in his skill is really up there.
That speed, that's NBA speed, man. Somebody was saying Russell Westbrook. They keep comparing him to Russell Westbrook, and I'm like, yeah, Russell Westbrook. I get where you're going with that, because Russell Westbrook was a big guard, but that speed, that looked like John Wall type speed. John Wall has a different gear than Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook is fast and relentless, but John Wall has that deer speed. You know what I mean? Where it's okay, he probably could have ran track in a different life. You know what I mean? And Jarrell, he looks like that. He looks like.
Man.
I know what I mean?
Because Hill from Philadelphia is a beast too. He was blocking getting those threes off. He was leading. He almost beat Atlanta with his team. But Big Jelly though, when he gets in shape, because all this running he doing, when Big Jelly gets in shape, because. That first game, every time Big Jelly would get the ball and, out in space, we would just start laughing. It was one of those things where it was just okay, he's about to do something ridiculous again. He was just doing things that was just the game just comes. It's the mental way he thinks the game, the way he thinks the game through. You could just see, that really comes easy to him. He's seeing stuff before it happens. I was like, they got a fat boy? What is fat boy gonna do? And then he did this fucking layup. I was like, oh shit, to me, respect this game. I was
I'm
like, oh
saying,
shit,
because I was saying, you know what? He kind of reminds me of Boris Diaw. Remember Boris Diaw from the Spurs? He played for the Spurs and the Suns back in the day.
Sort of remember.
He played with Steve Nash.
Really
he played with Tony Parker and them.
was a little young at that
Do you
time.
remember Boris Diaw?
I only remember the main characters in the Spurs, so I need you to tell me fully on that.
Okay, so Boris Diaw was this dude from France, and he was kind of like a portly-looking dude. He was like 6'9", you know what I mean? He would kind of jog up the court, but then he would just, like, drop these amazing passes, and you couldn't really leave him open. Like, he'll nail a three-pointer from the top of the key. You know, they put him in pick-and-roll situations. He'd catch the ball, and, there's just so many different things he could do with the ball, and he kind of reminded me of that. But the thing about Big Jelly is, and this is why they call him Jelly, is because he got a little sauce with it. Like Boris was like just a smart basketball player. You know what I mean? And he could just outthink guys on the court. You know what I mean? But he didn't have the sauce. Like Big Jelly, he come with that slow crossover and just kind of, you know what I mean? Like he get the wheels going, and he got like, it's weird because he kind of got like a nice quick little first step, and he take a couple long strides and he already at the basket, and this is not much anybody in the JBA gonna be able to do about that. There's not gonna be many guys that can guard him. Like when he gets in shape, because of the way he can move and everything like that, and how big he is and long he is, when he gets in real good shape, it's going to be a problem. It's not going to be many guys. There's probably only like 2 or 3 dudes that could even guard him.
You know what? I hope you share this with anyone who's around the JBA or part of the JBA. You guys need to play a U.S. college team. Okay?
Oh, my God. I want that to happen so bad. I just don't
want it to happen.
Like, it needs to happen. It needs to happen.
Open that big mouth of yours and speak that into existence. Say they're cowards. Say they are cowards.
Call out Duke.
Please.
Call them out. Call out UCLA.
ABA
call out all
make
of
this
them.
happen. Make it happen.
For real. Call out Arizona. And bring your top guys, because I'm telling you, that game would be really competitive, and I'm like,
then it's going to be packed.
How hard some of these guys go in the JBA, I give them the advantage if they put the right team together.
You know why I say they play hard? Because they got a lot of fouls.
They play super hard. And the thing is, if you take the top guys, if you take the top 15 guys, to me, the top 15 guys in the JBA league, put the NBA in another stratosphere. But other than the NBA, the top 15 guys, they can play anywhere in anybody's league.
Yep.
To me.
Yep.
They can be developed to play in anybody's league right now. Right now.
With the right coach. Because LaMelo's saucing up any of these bum-ass point guards that I've seen in this college thing. We got to stop out with this college stuff. Lavar, you need to, ABA the hero, you need to tell Lavar, let's do this college shit. Because tell these punk-ass college schools that you're ready for them. And that's the only way you're going to get people to view. Because then they're going to be like, oh, shit, they beat us college. Because I'm seeing Big Jelly, who's going to body half these motherfuckers. Let's be real. And then you have Heels from Philly. You have Krizo. You have LaMelo, you have Malone. I'm seeing these guys. I'm like, man, these guys can compete. They have a dog in them.
That's what I'm saying. It's a lot of dogs. Because we haven't even talked about Houston, bro. We haven't even talked about Houston. You know what I mean? They got ballers. They got high flyers. They got a squad. They might be Houston might be the best team. They might be.
Well, Atlanta's 2-2.
Did you see them play?
Yeah, I did, man.
They're athletic as I don't know what. They might be the best team. They could be.
Give these teams
I'm not taking them out of the running yet.
No, I'm going to give these teams more credit than college teams. These guys came in 10 days to get ready to play in the league. They didn't get that much time. So, of course, it's going to look a little disorganized. But these guys came in doing nasty passes to each other. When that guy made an out zone pass, he passed it all the way half court to Jelly, and Jelly did that underhand pass. I was like, oh, shit, they got the center doing this? Shit. That's when I knew I was watching. I was like, man, this is something.
Right. I just feel like it's in its infancy stages on all fronts, so it's just like it's just going to take a minute. Man, I hope they can figure out the highlight situation, because highlights sell basketball. Like,
Oh, yeah,
after every NBA game, I can go on YouTube and find multiple highlights of any player that played well the previous night. Any player. Like, I could, if LeBron James plays against whoever and he has a decent game, it's going to be up on YouTube, and I can find it out and find multiple channels with those highlights, and each channel's got like 1 million, 2 million views of that one highlight.
Listen, the most important part for me, except for these games, is Facebook better be making calls to colleges. Because if it wants to make money out of this shit, they better be making calls to all the top European teams and colleges. Not some bullshit what Lavar did with the BBB. I don't want some secondary teams that no one really cares about. I feel like they'll take
anybody at that BBB thing, though. They got to take, but they got to.
I'm not with it.
It's got to be who's willing, man. They got to convince these guys because they played LKL teams in the BBB challenge. They were willing to play anybody. They played NKL teams, LKL teams. They were willing to play anybody. But it's about who's willing to play them.
Yeah, and they got to push that. No, Lavar got to. You know when he goes on these speaking into existence thing, and how he talks to the people in the media, which I'm gonna tell which AB the hero. You need to post him on this thing. You got to tell him on Twitter. Lavar needs to do that same. I'm going to speak out loud as fuck about it until these colleges realize you guys are going to be called a pussy or you're going to play them. I don't care. I really don't care. They got to pressure them in.
What I would do if I was Lavar is I would first challenge these European teams. And then I would get some wins under my belt with these European teams. Hopefully they also play in Australia and China. I would challenge those teams, like literally publicly challenge those teams, like make it a thing. They kind of did that with the London Lions. I think they should keep doing that type of thing. That same thing they did with the London Lions, where they were like I think the London Lions coach was talking trash with Lavar over Twitter and all that type of stuff.
That was lovely.
They need to keep doing that. Keep that energy. Do that in Spain. Do that in Europe.
They need
do that in Australia. Do that over there. And then once you do that, then start calling out these college teams.
Oh, yeah, but I'm going to tell you why they need to do this, because these recruiters are biased and they think America somehow got the best basketball players, which is not true. But that's the only way you're going to shut these motherfuckers up. You come to North Carolina, you come to any of these colleges, you beat them in their own court with Zion. Guess what happens? Guess who's going to be talking about you? Just like how everyone talked about Zion after they beat LaMelo. Then they'll talk about you, and then your league is worth to watch. And as much as, you don't play as great as basketball, they're going to remember, but this is the league that beat this team. Then
I hope it happens,
you can get your top recruits, bro. Then you get your top recruits.
See, this is the thing. This is what the argument's going to be. You ready for the pushback? The pushback's going to be, look at your attendance, though. You don't have a big enough following. Like, what's the benefit for us?
That don't mean shit. But that's why
that's what they're going to say.
Gangsta on these motherfuckers.
That's what they're going to say. That is what they're going to say.
And you know what Lavar can say? Well, guess what? I'm not the soft-ass motherfucker that has to prove my – he's got to get full gangsta on him. He has to make sure that's public media. He can go to any of these people.
I don't think Lavar has any problem going full gangster.
Oh, no, Big Boy, remember when Big Boy in the interview was talking to him? I think he's a part of it, too. He didn't go right on there and say, well, that college is soft. They don't want to get exposed.
Yeah, I want him to say that. I want him to call out these guys. You know what? The NCAA deserves it. They deserve it. The NCAA, they deserve that type of scrutiny. They deserve that type of public, they need that. They need that energy.
They need that fight.
You know what I mean? They kind of walk over some of these players sometimes, man. Some of these players get done dirty in the media. They come in all sanctimonious. Well, they're giving them a free education. Man, I don't want to hear that, man. That kid's paying for his education by balling out.
Yeah, exactly. They're paying for it because they make the school money some other way. Just fly out of here.
Right, exactly.
The reason I'm saying this is because fuck European teams. This is why I say fuck European teams. Because as much as the American media always discards European teams, and you've seen it over the year, you need to play these
like look how they did Luka.
Because then the American media can't talk. Yeah, exactly. Look how they did Luka. Like Luka was not one of the best in the draft. He should be drafted number 1, but you know what they said? Well, I don't know. He played in the European team. This speaks more to the teams to let a 16-year-old do this to them. Get the fuck out of here. He was a nice player. But we live in a high-real culture. And if they do the dirt to Duke, then we can talk. Then we can say, look at that. But that's why they're going to be the best coach in the world.
Like I understand. It's just not going to work. That's not going to happen in the near future.
Get a mid-tier college. Get a mid-tier college
I would love
like
for it
Alabama.
to happen. I just don't see it happening.
Well, they need Lavar, like the way he speaks out loud, he can't shut his fucking mouth about his boys. He better not shut his fucking mouth about the JBA. Because if he wants this shit to last long and people to give him credibility, he's going to have to play college basketball teams, not fucking Euro teams. No one gives a fuck about Euro teams. If you want American audience to go like, you're not a bum, and you can allow people like me to give you arguments online if some asshole speaks up, I'm going to just be like, look, they beat Oklahoma. They beat Michigan. So shut the fuck up. Like that's you got to give me argument stances because I can't argue for the JBA as of right now.
I feel like the main argument you could have right now is they actually got some dogs. They actually got some like talent in this league.
But that's off the
That's
word.
the main argument because before the tryouts, the argument was, are they even going to get enough players? Think about it that way.
It's enough to play.
But they did. I mean, they got enough, and they got enough guys in this league where it's like, okay, I can see a future of basketball for a long time for this particular player over here or over there. You know what I mean? Like, it's not definitive. Like, a lot of people worry, is Melo going to be like the definitive best player in this league? He's not.
No, he's not.
It's a bunch of guys on Melo's level or may even be better than him.
The thing is, but the other guys are a little bit more disciplined and know what shots they can take. Like, a lot of the other guys don't take contested threes. They look to be open, then they shoot the three. And if they're not open, they go in for the layup. LaMelo, on the other hand, is a positive and a negative. He doesn't play scared. But then that also means he plays very foolish as of right now.
But it's just like you got to look at that age and you say, okay, well, yeah, I'll take that.
But I'm going to take, you know what I'm going to take, though? You know what I haven't seen from other college players that I'm seeing from LaMelo at the age of 16?
What?
He's a 6'6" point guard. I'm not even going to say his age. He's a 6'6". Malone plays a point guard, but he could play a point guard too. He's a 6'6" point guard who's doing 360 passes at the age of 16. I'm sorry, what? Like, let's be real here. I want them to play.
That was a crazy pass he did.
Oh man, I was like, "What is this? Is this magic I'm watching?" I was just playing, man. Like I was like,
"Is this something?" Like, yeah, he kind of has that. Yeah, like he kind of has that artistic feel to the game. You know what I mean?
He's like way better at passing than Lonzo is. He is way better at passing than Lonzo is. Because when you see him do like those pick up like shovel passes, like backwards, I'm like, oh my god, this kid, what is he doing? Like the instinct of this kid is crazy. At the age of 16. Right. And he's taller than what Lonzo was at the age of 16. I mean, this kid, if he turns out to be 6'8", 6'9",
oh my God,
he's going to the NBA no matter what. That's what I'm just saying. They need to play. We're gonna message AB the Hero. You have his message? Or did he block you?
No, I mean, I can hit him up, but it doesn't mean he's gonna hit me back.
Nah, who gives a fuck? He needs to hear it. They need to fuck European teams. They need to play these college people. Because I believe they got enough to – because the European teams, I feel like, would expose them a little bit more than college people do. Because, like, this is the thing. This is what I realized. The European teams are better than college. But if they lose to the European teams, they would get hit harder.
I feel it.
So if you play against a lesser competed but more hyped team, like the college players, and you beat them, where the fuck are they going to stay? There's 23-year-olds lost to 19 and the highest is 20-year-olds.
So who's the head coach of your All-Star team? For your JBA All-Star team, who's the head coach?
Motherfucking coaches. I don't think any of – at least Eric – you know what? Earl Watson, because he at least coached an NBA team. I'd give him that.
That would legitimize a lot of things going on.
Yeah, because they fired him for a dumb reason. First of all, that team was already trash. It wasn't because Earl Watson's coaching. Like, he wasn't going to save that team. And they gave up on him real quick. But Earl Watson has the kind of –
Oh, right, you make Earl the head coach and then the Atlanta coach's assistant or something like that?
Yeah, and then you make them face UCLA because they have connection with UCLA, and Facebook can pay for the competition because that's going to be an actual competition to watch. And all the LA people are going to want to see this.
Oh, they can call it the Facebook Open or something like that, right?
Exactly. And now you have gotten real competition. Well, not real, but you have not as better as European teams, but more hyped.
I'm just
UCLA
saying, like,
is not a.
The other thing you got to consider is all these dudes are so young, like, and they're gonna be in this league for like 3-4 years. By that fourth year, though,
They better be good, though. If they're not good, they're not necessarily on the league. But that's a fair
they'll be fine. They'll be fine. Like,
no,
like
why,
they want it.
And that's why I'm telling you, AB the Hero has a close ear to Earl. If he ever gets Earl, and that's why you got to message him on that. You got to tell him to talk to Earl if he can, because this would be a showdown people want to see. People don't want to see two teams they don't really know face each other. They want to see a team that, and also it's an easier college team to face to get your name in the airways. Big Boy could push that out. And they have connection with the UCLA team at least. This is a good competition. They can start out with UCLA and then they can move up. They don't need to be facing no fucking European teams because that's going to give them no credit. They need to be facing American college teams.
You got to think about it from a monetary standpoint. You got to keep your top players paid year round. You have to.
That's true. That's true. I'm gonna be real
just from
too.
They're gonna play competition. Like they're not gonna just avoid Europe. They have to play them.
Oh no,
because they need competition year round.
Yeah, they need competition year round.
And it's going to grow the brand. Like if they go play in Europe, it grows their presence in Europe. And frankly, some of these players aren't going to be good enough to play in the NBA, but they might be good enough to play overseas. So you need that exposure.
And this is a good opportunity for Lavar to speak with the teams if he spanks their ass. This is why it's important that he gets them the greatest training that they can.
I would go out on a limb. I think they would. I think they would give a lot of teams overseas problems. If you take the top 15 dudes, they can play with anybody.
And that's why I'm saying it's really important. That, like, this part of the season doesn't really matter because people they can make their second guesses and say this and that. But, like, when it comes to that, that's where it comes down to playing foreign teams and college teams. That's what really matters because then they could say, fuck what you thought. We spanked these teams. Put it on our notes.
I feel it.
Like it's like they could be off to like a diss rap about it. They could do their Ice Cube shit. They could just go like, listen, we took care of these teams. Do not call our league whack. Then your league becomes worth actually going to for top recruits.
Well, I feel like depending on how these jersey numbers do, if the jersey numbers skyrocket, I think there's going to definitely be some top recruits, especially they're going to be looking at the JBA like, wait a minute, how much money do these guys make?
Well, if I'm a top recruit, I don't give a shit what these guys make because I know what I could make. I got 1 million people following me, or over 500,000.
Yeah, but like, wait a minute, if you have like a lower end guy, let's say let's take a random player in the JBA, right? Like not a star player, but just a regular player. And, ends up selling like 2,000 jerseys and makes like dang near $100,000. And he's like a mid-level player.
That's
when
that's a lot of hope.
That's when the conversation changes, right? Because if a mid-level guy is making six figures.
Well, if any of these guys, because you got to think about this, these top recruits are so-called better by recruiting numbers than all of these guys, so-called, except for LaMelo. In recruiting numbers, if they see these guys, any of them, if they see Kizo make 60 or 100,000, which I see that happening, that's more viable, then they'll go, all right, I want to be a part of this because that's money being made. And Lavar,
especially if it's not just the jersey sales. Like if it's jersey sales, and let's say like they can actually pick up money other ways, other opportunities, other things arise that we haven't foreseen just yet. Then you really start to see, okay, wait a minute, this is a big industry here. I want to get involved in that. They're making some real money, and the social pressures from the families and everything. Like so some of these top recruits, they still come from families that are struggling to make money and all that type of stuff. And if they see, wait a minute, Lavar got these kids getting paid.
And not only that, the Machiavelli concept, which I like, is you can't kill a guy by himself. If you're trying to destroy a group, you have to get them in a group. Now, I know I'm not saying personally. What I'm trying to say is you can't get top recruits by one person. Get them in a whole group. So if you could prove that this shit works, you're going to have to bring them all in a group so you can get a bunch of top recruits at the same time, not just one top recruit.
I feel it.
So that if a top recruit is playing against a bunch of bums, they won't say, well, he's playing against a bunch of bums. No, he's playing against top recruits.
Right, I feel it.
You have to fill up those spaces. And then you force
think the
people
opportunity,
to watch you.
Let's just take this to, like, why are we so hyped about this? Because we were talking about this earlier. It's the fact that if they are successful, it opens up so many opportunities, especially for minorities and just business in general. It proves a lot of different things if they are successful. It opens up a lot of different doors. Changes the game.
It really does. It really does. Because you remember they had a little black girl like mopping up the sweat off the floor. It was kind of cute. I was like, oh, look at the guy. They had opportunities open for multiple people, and not just they let A be the hero. And Brandon, as much as I don't like them when they talk and they suck up, they gave them opportunities. There's opportunities open in a lot of places. I don't like them. I think A be the hero is good.
You just want them to call people out and stuff like that. They not about to do all that because they like brand ambassadors, man. They not about to. I keep telling you, I'm like, that's not their role. They not about to do that.
Listen, you don't understand. I want some WWE energy from Lavar. I'm from all these guys. They need to give that energy for the JBA. Like, you remember how Lavar was giving that energy for Lonzo? If he gave that same energy for the JBA, he needs to call out these people like the London Lions. He needs to go, y'all suck anyway. Can't play them. Because if you call them out, this is the thing about sports. You cannot politically correctly run away from competition because then you look like a coward.
That's true. Look what happened with Floyd and that's what happened with Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor, right? Just trash talking turned into something bigger.
Yeah, because Conor McGregor couldn't run away from it. Floyd couldn't run away from it. They already done trash.
And now we talking about Floyd possibly doing an MMA.
Yeah, because Conor was like, you beat me, and
that's
not really what I do. MMA, let's fight then. And he's going to spank Floyd if he does. Oh, my gosh. I don't want to watch that. I've never seen Floyd do a damn thing in MMA in my life. I don't think that man can do that. The foot is stronger than the fist.
Here we are.
The foot is stronger than the fist.
Here we are, because trash talking started the whole thing.
Exactly, and that's why I'm like, this JBA needs a wrestler promoter. It doesn't need the political. It's not the NCAA. We don't work on strict rules. We need to show that same energy. Like, fuck that. This is how we do things. If you don't want to play us, you're pussy. That's how you say it, because the only way you're going to grow your industry faster than these NCAA. Like, the NCAA had hundreds of years of only being the only company to run things, so they don't need to pressure people in anything. They already fooled people into believing they're better than the EuroLeague, which is not true. But they already fooled them because they're bought by the media, and the Nike pushes that. But it's
Nike, Adidas, all the shoe companies, Under Armour, they all involved in that.
Yeah, if LeVar Ball said, listen, y'all shaky, y'all soft, let's do it. Just like how he did that to John Wall, and John Wall was all hyped and wanted to fight, like wanted to play Lonzo, and he still lost. That's how you do it. You get your opponent thinking, she's trash talking us. We got to handle this.
I think the European teams would be more apt first to do that.
No, I feel like the European teams would be the last one to do this.
See, because
I think the European
you got to remember, the college teams, they're in bed with these shoe companies. And these shoe companies, they want to ignore LeVar. They want everyone to just ignore him. You know what I mean? These rival shoe companies.
No, because here's the thing.
Because Europeans,
I'm gonna say this: the European teams don't have to give a shit because they control the media. I mean, they're not in control. I'm saying that the media is not like accessible to LeVar over there. Like because when Big Boy was talking, Big Boy is kind of in the team, was working with them on public training. He has a big voice as it is. He could push his narrative heavy. And if the NCAA teams don't want to face them, that makes LeVar look even better. He wins no matter what. because people are going to say, well, they're soft. They don't want to face them. They're scared. Or and if he beats them,
yeah, I want them to call him out. I just don't think they're going to do it. And I think they're going to try to, play that, nobody's watching the games card. Well, people are watching the games. We can see the numbers.
That's soft moves because people listen to Lavar's mouth. And he needs to get, you know what he needs to do? And I'm going to say this right now. Baller vision, I wish I could hit all these guys up right now. He needs to get baller vision and all these big people to put a name saying Lavar
and they hit us back like, we doing the Facebook thing.
Well, that's what I'm
that's
saying.
What they hit us back with. I'm like, well,
you know what? You know how like right after a game teams are doing talking.
Yeah.
Lavar, as the head honcho, he needs to do that. Get baller vision. Get all these people up. All these big. They're not like owned by the industry, but they have big YouTube channels, and have them record him. And him say, "Listen, they're trash. We could spank them." If that shit gets out, that's 500,000
I feel like he would get shouted down, but
I
would love him to do that because then, see, people that go to these colleges would start to get involved. They would now people that go to these colleges, like if he was calling out specific colleges, because people get real crazy about whatever college they went to. They get real, like they try to act like they belong to some gang or something like that, right?
Then you got
so if he started calling out dude, if he started calling out University of North Carolina. You know what I mean? Just calling them out, UCLA, whoever. And saying, y'all want to play us.
First, they should start with UCLA. They should start with all the booty-ass teams so that we can get this over that not all college teams are better than JBA. They spanked those teams. Well, not spanked, but they beat them. And then we could just go, well, listen, look, Lavar has put his foot on hold saying this is as good as college or better. And so because he needs that. Because the problem here is when I'm watching a 140-point game, a lot of people are going to go,
Yeah, that's fine. Like people are like, they're not playing defense, or they're not trying that hard and this stuff, or they're not playing hard enough. I've seen people saying
they're playing
like that.
defense.
Yeah, they're playing really hard.
The problem is these people have a good excuse to say it's not defense, because when you see a 140-point game, you're like, what the fuck's going on? This happens in the NBA too, but they don't count that. But I'm just saying, it's just how they see it. And that's why I'm saying,
these guys are playing every other night.
Colleges.
Like I said, eight players on the team, 6-man rotation. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and now we're fucking college refs, because I know college is dirty too. Like, they need to play with JBA refs. They need to make sure this shit is in their control. And Facebook, as a billion-dollar company, should make this happen and stop pussyfooting around. They could have done this last time when the BBB games. They could have had real competition. Facebook act like it can't control things. You're a billion, I think almost close to $1 trillion company. You could turn this league into a legit league. You could be the first one to be a part of a legit league. Just make them face college teams and Euro teams that are worth the challenge, and so that could be part. Because ESPN will talk all day about Lavar. You just need to put the right teams out there. It really does matter what teams they face. And I really want AB to. I really want AB to.
Man, leave that man alone.
They need to hear this.
Leave him alone.
I want them to be dogs. I need them to be dogs, man. I need animals. I need them to know this is the only reason that people like fuck this league. That's the only reason people watch only LaMelo's game. That's the only reason.
I feel like if they put the highlights on YouTube, people will start to watch these other players.
Not only that, because haters are strong. If your product is not strong, the haters are winning.
No, wait a minute. I'm going to tell you why. Because when Lonzo and them was in high school and they was beating everybody, steamrolling people, that's how they got famous, was the YouTube views. I mean, like, people were coming to the games, but how they gained notoriety was a lot of their games were accessible to through YouTube.
But you know why?
There's so much YouTube footage of like LaMelo and Lonzo Ball's and Leandro Ball's high school careers. There's so much footage of it. Like you can go through. It's like archived at this point.
But it's different though, because they played top recruits that the white man said was top recruits. They played top 5, so there wasn't an excuse to say, well, I mean, these highlights are probably around bumps. Even in high school, they played in the best league of high school games against top 5 recruits which was named by Nike and them. Playing in this league, the highlights don't really prove much. You get more views, but you're not going to really, make a real foundation out of that. You want to prove that you're the best league in America after NBA. You have to prove it. That's the only way LeVar Ball is going to turn this into a $1 billion industry.
What if they played the top AAU teams?
That's not worth it because, look, this is the thing. The media is the devil. The media has already tried to say the AAU is not really good competition. You've heard this. Even the same kids who play in the NBA now, they try to treat it worse than high school basketball. You've noticed that, right? So
yeah, I feel
even though that's dumb, it's all narratives. You cannot play the AAU teams because then they'll just say, oh, he's just as good as AAU teams. That don't mean nothing. That's not college. They have to play college teams. Because Stephen A. is the biggest mouthpiece in this country. And he is an idiot. We saw how he talked about Porzingis. You saw how you see, this is what I'm saying. It's all narrative-based. This guy said Porzingis sucked. And then I watched highlights of Porzingis, a 7'3" guy in that country, shooting threes over Luka Doncic. Shooting threes, giving teams the business. But because Stephen A. is not big on the Euro sports, we don't care. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter what teams you face. It matters what the media's perception of that team you face.
I'm just like, okay, so they call it. Let's just play this out to try to see. I'm just trying to see what the breaking point will be. So he starts calling out these college teams, right?
Yeah.
What do you think the breaking point is? Like, what do you think gets a college to cave and say, you know what? Forget that, we're playing them. Does he start calling out coaches? Does he start calling out specific players on the team? Like, what do you think is the catalyst?
He has to call specific players in the team and the coach. He can't call out the organization because the organization will just white it up and go, we don't do this. This is not how we operate. This is not how we do things. They'll just blah, blah, blah and push it away like it's nothing. You have to call out the players because the players are the ones who play the basketball game. They're the ones who you want to play. They're the top recruits that you're giving the business to. And the only way to push that is to make them, to emasculate them. In the media.
Okay, so then what you have to do is say, okay, so you come out and say, like, let's say this was Kentucky back in the day, right? So you would come out and say, yeah, De'Aaron Fox is fast, but Jarrell Springer is, like, way faster. Something like that?
Yep. You have to say, you have to be like, listen, this college team, this is baby work. You have to insult them. You have to go.
I need that energy from Lavar. I need him to do that.
I need him to
do that.
Just like how he said Lonzo's better than Curry, we knew it wasn't true, but he gave that energy. He said, fuck that. This is what he needs to do for the JBA. Because if he does that for the JBA, all these colleges got to do is just go, they can't hush it. He needs to get on big boy and say that shit. They need a wrestling promoter in the JBA.
Oh, yeah, I need that. They don't want to play us.
I need that.
They over there eating salami sandwiches. My guys are driving Lamborghinis.
I need it. Because then this will make the league way more entertaining. This gives it more content, and we can go, oh, shit, this is a storyline, which the JBA is really missing. If your storyline is only LaMelo, that's not a big storyline. We knew LaMelo. You need a bigger storyline. You need a storyline to like, listen, my team can spank them. And it goes on for months, and you're like, oh, my gosh, this is building up. And to the game, it becomes an epic game. It becomes an Ali and Frazier. People show up because they want to see which league is better. Now you have shown real competition. People who want to actually watch it. You won't get that in Europe. You won't get that in Europe because people don't give a fuck about American basketball. Yeah, they care only about NBA. They're not going to look at you and go, oh, I'm really, oh. The only way is because Americans are prideful people, and they don't like losing. If you come and say, I spanked your team, Americans will watch that goddamn game. Remember when Murray ran around? All he did was run around Lonzo. And the Laker fans got pissed the fuck off. They came in and booed because that's what American energy is like. That's not European energy. That's what, like, look, Lavar has to become Jamel Murray. He has to become him. He has to troll. That is the only way you get these guys coming out. That's why Donald Trump is president. He trolled the shit out of these people. He said, listen, I do better, I do this better, I do that. He needs to give that energy. That's the only way these motherfuckers come out and talk. Or else he's just going to be playing European teams and he's going to have a Euro League and we're all going to forget about it. We're all going to be, hey, remember that time he played BBB? It's not as ecstatic. He really needs to go at these top recruits next. Because that's the only way that these players are going to be even higher in top recruits. Because you're not going to say, oh, yeah, this number 5 recruit guy lost to a bunch of guys.
I'm going to tell you what he's got to do
100.
then. Okay, let me give you a psychological play, and let me see what you think. So you're saying call them out publicly, call out the coaches, call out the players. Perfect. But this is what you do then. You do play the AAU teams. I'm going to tell you why. You play the top AAU teams because where are the top AAU recruits going at the end of the year? They're going to the colleges. So if your guy outplays that top recruit in a game, now you got video evidence.
Oh, okay.
Now you can say, oh yeah, but you get what I mean? Yeah, your guy was good.
So that game won't be proving anything, but it would say like, listen, you need to face me now because look what he did to you guys last time.
Right.
You guys are soft.
Play these top AAU teams, and it starts. They got to play the top AAU teams. Got to. Because that tape. You see what I'm saying? If Big Jelly,
we need to post
it over.
You need to cut this.
Your favorite team center, and Lavar is saying, hey, yeah, DeAndre ain't he good, but my guy Big Jelly over here. See what I mean? That's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, he needs to, like, yo, man, you need to cut and edit this part and, like, post all of the people who are close. I don't give a fuck, because this is golden. We need some wrestler promoters to just go, like, fuck it. We need to call these men.
Right now, who's a bigger wrestling promoter than Lavar?
Yes, Lavar. Lavar needs to show the fuck up.
He is the perfect guy to pull this off.
As soon as he's
the only
because
guy.
no one watches college basketball.
Off.
And as soon as he does this, he's gonna have 2 million. If he does this, he's gonna have 2 million views. I promise you that.
He'll have way more than that. He'll have 30, 40 million views. Because think about it. Okay, the top episode on Ball in the Family had 27 million views, the first episode. We're talking about them kind of numbers if they play the college team. Battle.
Oh, man.
Yeah. All the trash talk building up to it. Oh, my God.
That is the game for his life. That is the game for the league's life. He needs to do it. Big risk to go home.
If he started calling out those players and those players started chirping back, then the fans of the team got involved.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Because it's important. It's really important for the other players in JBA to do this. Because then if they don't become anything, it's going to look real bad on the JBA. Real bad. So he needs to do something right now.
Yeah, start laying those eggs right now. Start putting them seeds out there right now. Just start putting it out there, putting that energy out there.
That goes for you too.
Calling guys out. Yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
$1 billion you better give
not
all
in the JBA, then it's like F you. You know what I mean? Like let's do what we got to do.
I'm hungry for this content. You don't understand. When we talk about this right now, I'm just hungry. I want to see this. This is entertainment. Because I'm like, oh, man, this is a storyline. I love storylines. Like when I saw the Nuggets play the Lakers, that was a storyline. When LeBron came to the Knicks and he said, I'm king in New York, that was something I was like, nah, fuck that, Knicks. You need to show him. I was like, that kind of energy gave me ammunition. I was like, oh, I want to watch this. I don't get that right now in the JBA League.
Yeah, because the players don't really talk trash to each other either.
Yeah, and it's really
like I see them talk trash during the games, but like I bet you like there's probably like they probably told them like don't do stuff over social media, but like these players need to be going at each other. Like I'm hoping that some rivalries develop pretty soon, but it's gonna take some time. But like I'm hoping like by the
be
time
a
we
few
get to the playoffs, it gets nasty, it gets ugly. You know what I mean? Because that's
man.
what needs to happen.
Because here's the thing. A lot of the recruiting, these top recruits are not poor like they used to be. Right? These are well-to-do families who have these kids now. So there's no point in them going to this unless the JBA shows
kids coming to
that
college
it's
like they're
a
brand already.
Yeah. So you have to come and compete with these brands. You need to show that you can shit all over these brands so people know what you are. That is the only way JBA gets any sort of permission because these American media twist everything and act like, oh, nothing really happened. That's the only way you can handle it. Like you said, look what they did to Luka. What they did to Luka was nothing but disgusting. When Stephen A. was talking about Luka, I was like, that is disrespectful. This guy is a better passer. He was, Trae Young's better than. Get the fuck out of here, Trae Young's better than Luka. Like, first of all, European teams don't allow.
Not in any universe. Can you really just say Trae Young's definitively better than Luka Doncic?
Like, this is the thing, because they were high praising Luka. I swear. You got to hear these people out. There's some people who say dumb shit like, it's the ones that are cartoon characters who play that kind of cartoon character type, who doubt European basketball. Like, DeAndre Ayton did not play like, this is a big man. First of all, that's alarming. And that's why I don't like what the Suns, sort of don't like what the Suns did. They picked a big man that's not great on defense. That should never be the excuse for a big man. I don't give a fuck. If you're over 6'11", and you're not good on defense, that's not a good pickup.
Especially when you look at what happened with Jahlil Okafor, where, you know, he's like almost out of the league now.
I mean, yeah, because what's the point of a big man if he's not good on defense?
Right.
He better be bullying people, and usually that's the problem with big men who are rookies.
What's the matchups you're looking forward to see now, like that you haven't seen yet in the JBA?
What do you mean, like JBA matchups?
Like upcoming matchups that you want to see right now in the JBA between
games. I'm not really as hyped. All I want to see is the LA game and the Atlanta game, and that's it.
Like, you mean LA versus Atlanta?
Yeah, because they both have this big amount of skills. That's the only two teams I care about.
What did you watch Houston play?
I did, but like I'm going to tell you this, I think Atlanta could beat Houston easily. I think LA could just outrun them. I feel like LA beat Philly. Seattle, who I think is like the second best team. So I don't really see Houston as a threat to LA or Atlanta.
So you just like the marquee game is the Atlanta versus LA game.
Yep. The two undefeated teams. Because someone has to lose. That's what I see it as.
Let's see. Let me see when they play. Let's see. So Atlanta will play Los Angeles. Wow, that's going to be a minute before they actually play each other.
Oh, that's suspense.
July 19th, Dallas, Texas. That's the first time they play each other. It's going to be the first game, Atlanta versus LA. First time they meet.
I hope it's packed. They need to start packing this shit.
It will be. By then, it should be packed for that game.
Yeah, and Lavar. That's when Lavar should start talking smack about what team he wants to play right now, so that at least it could kind of pick up the audience to see the games they play, and then start.
Well, I mean, really, honestly, the players should kind of like I'm hoping that, you know, the players kind of realize that too, and they need to start engaging with each other. You know what I mean? Because, like, really, if you're from Atlanta, you shouldn't be rooting for the LA team. And if you're from LA, you shouldn't be rooting for the Atlanta team. But the players need to, accept that challenge and take on that culture.
Yeah, because that's why LA loved the
Because you're supposed to be, basically, I mean, all the teams is called the Ballers, right? So, really, you repping the city you from. You repping, your area.
That's why I don't think a lot of people give a shit. Because they're like, okay, yeah, it's the LA team, but is it really the LA team? I don't know. I feel like the only people who will show up, I feel like New York is going to be the most packed house. Because I think the Ball family has New York. Like, New York loves the Ball family. I know this for a fact.
So you think that, have you been checking on the ticket sales for there, or?
They don't have the same like graphics as LA did when they showed the seats.
Oh, okay.
So I can't really tell who sold how much. Like who? If I gotta look deeper, I can't. But I feel like when they showed up to New York last time, what 3,000 people on the
shop,
line to buy their stuff?
How many people showed up for that?
A lot. Like I say, over 2,000 people. Literally, it was a line full of people. It was packed.
Right.
It was way better than the seats
they
have now. But I mean, New York City is a basketball city. Really, it is.
That's
why no one showed up in the Dallas game. Seattle had to say it was packed because it's a basketball city.
You know what? If the New York team can turn it around and somehow figure out how to win some games, that could be like a big story.
Nope, that's not happening. I doubt that. Because I'll be real honest, the way they are handled in the game it looks so easy to every other team. They don't have to play hard defense. All they do is, I remember they just let these guys shoot threes, and then they'll just block them in the layup. New York team isn't a great shooting team for their height. That's the problem.
Yeah, they got to work on that. Their hope is they have to become a good 3-point shooting team. They need to be doing all 8 dudes need to be doing shooting drills on an hourly basis.
Man, whoever the coach is, I feel bad for
eat, shooting drills, sleep, shooting drills, eat.
Yeah, I don't want to see any of them in an all-star team. I don't want to see any of them in an all-star team. I don't think any of them deserve to be an all-star team. I don't want to see any of them facing NCAA
the Kamara kid looks pretty good, and that. I gotta figure out how to say his name, but there was a kid that played really tough defense on Melo in the first
that's
game.
True, but
he looks
Melo
like he's gonna be a gamer.
Basketball sometimes. Anyone can play good defense if you're shooting bad threes. I mean, was not impressed by it. Like LaMelo is the one that's playing harder defense on himself sometimes when he shoots those threes, sliding his feet to the left. Like I don't see anyone really giving LaMelo problems when LaMelo decides not to shoot threes and he goes in for layups. No one's challenging this kid. You can do it, but when he wants to decide to go in, he'll go in. When he shoots, you have a better chance of stopping him.
Yeah, and that's only on the threes because when he's shooting mid-range, he's pretty solid on those too.
His floaters are beautiful.
Yep.
Like, I'm going to be real. I would have said, hey, Melo, go into the draft this year. You have a better chance than your brother. Let's be honest. Like, he would have probably got picked in the second round. Because Mutombo's brother, what's his name? Oh, no, I forgot. The one who plays in the Bucks. Giannis's brother? Antetokounmpo?
Yeah.
His brother ain't shit. I was like, okay, I've seen him play. He doesn't impress me at all. My brother he could have just said, And Holiday?
I feel that. Yeah, he's not.
Holiday
he hasn't
UCLA?
shown anything. I mean, he's got the amazing height. And that's about it.
What does Holiday's brother
I was
show
surprised
that,
Milwaukee didn't pick him up, though.
Yeah, but what does Holiday's brother, who got drafted this year, show that I'm like should be calling home to? The one who was sat down.
Well, the thing is like, yeah, you're talking about. I want to say, I can't remember his first name, but he played at UCLA. That one. The thing about him is he's shown the ability to score. I think his 3-point percentage is decent.
But on the losing team, though.
Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, to me, he's not as good as Drew is. Drew Holiday, he's not as good as him.
Yeah.
But I could see him. I don't know. He could go either way. Like I could see him not being in the league in 3 years, and I could also see a situation where he's like a backup point guard in the league for the next 15 years.
Yeah, listen.
You go either way.
I don't buy your hype if you're a losing team. That's why I didn't buy Trae Young's hype. As much as people try to preach that, he was with bad players.
Yeah, but like look at Ty Lawson or look at Ray Felton. He's kind of like the same type of player.
What, he had a bad record?
No, I mean like that type of, just jitterbug point guard, shoot the three, and like Ray Felton and Ty Lawson are both still in the league, I believe. Like Ray Felton was, I believe, playing for the Clippers last year, and they've both been in the league like 10 years out almost.
I forgot. I haven't heard the names for long. I thought one of them played in the Grizzlies.
He might have. I can't remember. I know one of them played for the Clippers.
You can't remember. Okay, you can't even remember.
But they played. That's what I'm trying to say. They're vets in the league, though. Doesn't matter.
Right. They're in the league, right?
That's what I'm saying. He might play. He might be a backup point guard or a starting point guard the first few years for the next 15 years in the league. Or I can see a situation where it's like where he's kind of like a Tyler Ennis type situation.
No, that's not. Don't say that. Don't wish bad on Andrew. Don't wish bad on him. Don't ever, that's horrible. Saying a Tyler Ennis situation. That's just end the career. Like I'm seeing Magic is just looking at that Tyler Ennis and he's just like, you out, you know that, right? Like he's fucked up, right?
In his chest today, man. Magic went out there and was like, I'm about to show y'all how much of a killer I really am.
You know, you remember Denzel Washington from any of those movies acting? My man. Just any of those, he was just giving off that vibe. He's like, you know what?
He was Denzel. We call that Denzel. He was definitely doing that. He was like, yeah, I feel it. Yeah, he was giving off that trading day.
You know who I am? Am I stressed?
King Kong.
Magic Johnson.
He definitely was doing that. Like, Magic was on his, like, and he got, you know, he's kind of been putting, like remember when the Kawhi thing came out and then it was like, Lakers came out and said, well, we're kind of concerned about his injury history. I was like, whoa, like, they playing hardball. Like, they not coming out with the desperation type feel. You know what I mean? They like, oh, y'all not about to gut us, Spurs.
Get the fuck out of here. Like, and then that Bill Pelinka guy who basically was putting out the rumor that they wanted to train Lonzo. That's the reason why Magic definitely pointed out his name. So yeah, you some old school guys, but man, that's weird. Like he was a little pissed. I was like, whoa, he about to tell him off. Because I mean,
no, that was Bill Plaschke. That was Bill Plaschke for the LA Times.
Yeah. Like, yeah, Bill Plaschke, who makes up a bunch of bullshit, which is annoying about. I hate that guy. He's a total racist. But Bill Plaschke,
he's trash.
You remember when he went on? Yeah, he's trash. So when he asked him that, he just like, stress, man. I'm Magic Johnson. I've been in the championship 9 times. I was like, oh, is he about to pull out the rings? I was like, this man ain't playing no games. He's like, what the fuck you think I am? And the funny thing is,
they see Magic and forget he's a shark. He's a killer, man. He ain't playing no games.
He said, you're going to see a different Lonzo. And when I hear that when Magic says that shit, Lonzo better be different. Because Magic words.
Magic believes in Lonzo. I still say Magic is Lonzo's biggest advocate.
You know what someone did, which was hilarious? They said, oh, but look what he said about Jimmy Fredette. I'm like, but he had no control over Jimmy Fredette. Oh, look what he said about Okafor. He had no control over. Those were old white dudes running a corporation like stockholders. Like, I'm going to be real. These other teams don't know how to run rookies. This is why they're always whack. This isn't because, like, people who hype the shit out of Philly like they're great trainers. No, they're not. They're lucky enough to get 2 good players. How long did it take you to get 2 good players?
I feel it. Because there's no, like, and then it's like, why do all your good players have to sit out a year to get right?
Exactly. That's why I always believe it's not on the rookies. It's always on the culture of your team. Because New York can't be this trash. You've been trash and you've been like in lottery picks for years. And you got lucky because one of your rookies played professionally already. Really when it comes down to it. Like to the point where I noticed it's like you can't even trust these teams. That's why when Magic says what he fucking says, and people are like, oh, but you know who also said that? Jim Buss. But who the fuck is Jim Buss? He makes dumb choices. Stop it, B. Stop it.
So are you going to watch the JBA game tonight?
Oh, I'm definitely watching it because I have nothing else to watch. But like, if I chose, if it wasn't for Lavar, like here's the thing. This is why I'm not impressed enough. If it wasn't for Lavar Ball, I wouldn't watch it. It was like some guys were the big corporations league. I would not watch it. That's why Lavar needs to promote it harder.
Right, because he's the draw. I mean, it's not just that he's the draw. It's the fact that, like, we just want to see Lavar do well. We want to see him win. We want to see him succeed. It's just that simple. There's no really rhyme or reason to it. We just want him to win.
I care about the whole message that can be made out of this. Like, Lavar is the best.
That's what I mean.
All I give. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going at the corporations, man. Whether you want to, like, however you want to see it, whether you like them or not, he's going at the corporations in a way that we just normally get to see.
Yeah, the JBA game's happening right now.
All right, well, we're going to tune into that. Everybody, this is the weekly JBA review. And with the Ball Control Podcast, this is Bryan and Shawn.
All right.
Be sure to check us out. You can find us on Twitter. Shawn's handle is, what's your handle, Shawn?
Shawn Amin.
All right, so Shawn Amin, and my handle is B as in boy Sanders 2520, and you can find us on Twitter, and we're probably gonna put this up on our YouTube channel as well. And all right, thank you very much.
All right,
don't forget to like and subscribe.
Ooh yeah.